the prehistoric beasts that ruled America. Imagine waking up in a world where the horizon stretches endlessly, unbroken by cities or highways, but instead it's dotted with creatures so massive and otherworldly, they give modern elephants an inferiority complex. Could you survive alongside these prehistoric giants? Let's dive deep into that in today's episode. Life 10,000 years ago in America was a breathtaking mix of beauty and danger. You're part of a small group of hunter-gatherers roaming in a land teeming with life and untouched by modern civilization. The air is crisp, the rivers unpolluted, and the wilderness stretches on forever. But this isn't some peaceful paradise. Every day is a struggle to survive, to find food, and to keep your tribe safe. And the stakes are high, because the creatures you share this land with are unlike anything alive today. Take the mammoths, those towering, shaggy beasts that stomp through the grasslands, their curved tusks gleaming like polished ivory. These woolly tank trunks, as we'll call them, are the lifeblood of your tribe. They're not just animals, they're walking treasure troves. Their thick fur keeps your people warm in the icy winters. Their meat feeds your entire group for weeks, and their bones become tools, weapons, or even part of your shelter. But here's the catch. Hunting one is like trying to take down a moving boulder. Imagine standing before a mammoth that's 15 feet tall at the shoulder, weighing around 10 tons. You'd have to be fearless or maybe just desperate. Your tribe uses every ounce of ingenuity to bring one down. You'd work together to set traps, drive the mammoth toward a cliff, or ambush it near a riverbank. Spears tipped with stone pierce its thick hide, but it takes more than one hit to bring the beast down. The mammoth fights back, swinging its tusks and trumpeting so loudly the ground seems to shake. One wrong step could mean the end of the hunt, and maybe the end of you. But when the mammoth finally falls, the celebration is monumental. Songs are sung, stories are told, and the entire tribe gives thanks to the creature for its sacrifice. And if mammoths are the woolly tank trunks of your world, their cousins, mastodons, are no less impressive. These fluffy, tusky giants might look similar at first glance, but they're shorter, stockier, and built like prehistoric bulldozers. While mammoths roam the open plains, mastodons prefer the woodlands, tearing through trees with their straighter tusks. Hunting them was a different challenge altogether. Imagine tracking one through dense forests, its massive body leaving a trail of broken branches in its wake. The forest is alive with sound, birds chirping, leaves rustling, but you're focused on the faint rumble of the mastodon ahead. When you finally find it, the sheer size of the creature makes you hesitate. Its tusks alone could impale several hunters at once, and its thick skin is harder to pierce than the bark of the trees it feeds on. But if your tribe is successful, the rewards are immense. The mastodon provides everything the mammoth does, but there's something special about hunting a creature that thrives in the shadowy, mysterious woods. It feels like you've conquered not just the beast, but the forest itself. Not every giant you encounter is a target, though. Some are simply too massive, too strange, or too peaceful to hunt. Take the giant ground sloths, for example. These mega-chill titans are like something out of a dream. Imagine walking through the forest and suddenly seeing a creature over 20 feet tall, calmly munching on leaves. Its huge claws, each as long as your forearm, scrape bark from trees as it slowly shuffles along. These sloths are herbivores, so they're not a direct threat, but their sheer size is enough to make your heart race. It's hard not to feel a sense of awe when you see one. They move so slowly it's almost hypnotic, like watching a boulder come to life. You stand there, hidden among the trees, just watching as this gentle giant goes about its day. The ground shakes slightly with each step it takes, and its fur ripples in the breeze. You could probably get close to one without much danger. But would you dare? Those massive claws might be used for stripping bark, but they're sharp enough to gut anything that gets too close. Still, there's something peaceful about these sloths. Unlike the mammoths and mastodons, they're not animals your tribe hunts. They're just there. A reminder that not every creature in your world is about survival or danger. Some are simply part of the landscape, like ancient living monuments. But even the gentlest giants can reshape your world in unexpected ways. The mammoths and mastodons trample paths through the forests and grasslands, creating trails that your tribe might follow. The giant ground sloths strip entire trees bare, changing the way the forest grows. These creatures aren't just part of your world, they are your world. They shape the land, the ecosystem, and even the stories your tribe tells around the fire at night. For you and your people, these giants aren't just animals. They're lifelines, challenges, and mysteries all rolled into one. Every encounter with them is a reminder of your place in this vast, untamed world. You're not at the top of the food chain, but you're not helpless either. You're part of this incredible, interconnected web of life, and it's your job to navigate it. Whether you're hunting a woolly tank truck, tracking a fluffy, tusky giant, or simply marveling at the slow grace of a mega-chill titan, you know one thing's for sure. This world is bigger, wilder, and more extraordinary than you could have ever imagined. Living 10,000 years ago wasn't just about finding food. It was about staying alive, plain and simple. Sure, the gentle giants of your world like mammoths and mastodons could be hunted, but what about the creatures that hunted you? In this vast, untamed land, the predators were as terrifying as they were awe-inspiring. Every day your survival depended on staying one step ahead of these apex hunters. Let's take a closer look at the animals that made your heart race every time you heard a rustle in the bushes or a shadow pass overhead. First, there's the Saber-Toothed Cat, what your tribe might call the furry swordmouth. These creatures were the stuff of nightmares. Imagine walking through the tall grass, spear in hand, when you suddenly hear a low growl behind you. You freeze, your heart pounding in your ears. You turn slowly and there it is, a saber-toothed cat, crouched low, its amber eyes locked onto you. Its massive fangs glint in the sunlight, so long and curved they look like they belong to another world. This isn't just some ordinary predator. This is a machine built for ambush. Saber-toothed cats weren't just scary because of their size or their fangs. They were smart. They knew how to stay hidden, how to stalk their prey without being seen. You'd hear stories around the fire about hunters who never came back. Their only trace, a trail of blood leading into the forest. But there were also tales of warriors who managed to fight one off, using their spears and their wits. These stories weren't just entertainment, they were lessons, warnings passed down through the generations. If you ever saw a saber-toothed cat, you know one thing for sure. You're either about to become part of the story or live to tell it. But even the saber-toothed cats weren't the biggest threat in your world. That title belonged to the short-faced bear. These bears were gargantuan, standing up to 12 feet tall on their hind legs and weighing close to a ton. They were faster than any human, stronger than any animal, and aggressive enough to attack anything they wanted. If you saw one, your only hope was to get out of its way. Imagine you're fishing by a river with a couple of other tribe members when you hear a branch snap behind you. You turn and freeze. There, standing at the edge of the forest, is a short-faced bear. Its eyes are locked onto you, and it starts to move closer, each step deliberate and terrifying. You drop your fish, your tools, everything, and run as fast as you can. But the bear doesn't care about your speed. With its long legs and muscular body, it can outrun you easily. Your only hope is that it loses interest before it catches up. Your tribe doesn't tell many stories about killing these bears because hardly anyone ever does. Instead, the stories are about the survivors, the ones who manage to climb a tree just in time or throw a rock to distract the bear long enough to escape. The flat snout menace isn't just a threat. It's a reminder that in this world, you're never truly safe. And then there's the danger from above. The Pterotornis, kings of the sky and of terror, are massive birds of prey with wingspans that stretch over 20 feet. They soar high above the plains, their sharp eyes scanning for movement below. To them, you're not a hunter, you're potential prey. Imagine looking up and seeing a shadow pass overhead, your stomach twisting as you realize it's not just a cloud. These birds could swoop down and carry off smaller animals, and there are whispers in your tribe that they could even snatch a child if given the chance. Whether or not that's true, you're not taking any risks. You keep your children close, and if you see a Pterotorn circling above, you make yourself as small and uninteresting as possible. But even as they terrify you, they fascinate you. Around the fire, you hear stories of how these birds might be messengers from the spirits, or perhaps even gods themselves watching over the land. If you were living in this world, which predator do you think would terrify you the most? The stealthy saber-toothed cat, the unstoppable short-faced bear, or the massive Pterotorn from above? Let us know in the comments. Living alongside these predators isn't just about fear, it's about respect. You learn their patterns, their habits, their strengths, and their weaknesses. You know when it's safe to walk through the forest and when it's better to stay close to camp. You know how to recognize the tracks of a saber-toothed cat or the claw marks of a short-faced bear. And you pass that knowledge down to the next generation, ensuring that your tribe doesn't just survive, but thrives. But here's the thing, predators aren't just enemies. They're part of the old America, part of the balance that keeps everything in check. Without them, the herbivores would overrun the land, stripping it bare. The predators keep the system working, and in a strange way, you're grateful for them. They remind you that life isn't easy, that survival is earned, not given. And when you sit by the fire at night, listening to the stories of hunts and close escapes, you feel a deep connection to the land and the creatures that inhabit it. This is their world as much as it is yours, and learning to coexist with them is the key to your survival. After all, in a world this wild, fear isn't just a reaction, it's a tool, one that keeps you alive. Not every creature in your world is a predator or prey animal. Some are just strange. They don't fit neatly into the categories of threat or resource, but they still shape the land and your life in ways you can't ignore. These creatures are the curiosities of your world, the ones that make you stop and wonder, what is that thing? Take the glyptodonts, for example. These massive, armored mammals, what we might call prehistoric shell tanks, are like something out of a fantasy novel. Imagine a creature the size of a small car, covered in a thick bony shell that gleams in the sunlight. They're slow, lumbering herbivores, and they don't seem to care much about anything around them. You might see one grazing near a riverbank, its tail swaying lazily behind it. That tail, by the way, is no joke. It's like a club, capable of smashing through bone or wood with a single swing. Your tribe doesn't hunt glyptodonts. They're too well armored, too difficult to kill, and honestly, they're not worth the effort. But that doesn't mean they're ignored. You might watch one from a distance, marveling at its strange, ancient design. What would it feel like to touch that shell? Would it be warm from the sun or cool and smooth like stone? These creatures aren't just animals, they're living relics, reminder of a time before even your ancestors walked the earth. And then there are the colossal dam engineers of nature, the giant beavers. Imagine walking along a river and coming across a dam so massive, it's created an entire lake where there used to be a stream. The water is calm, the fish are plentiful, and the land around it is lush and green. But this isn't the work of humans. It's the work of giant beavers, creatures the size of modern black bears. The beavers themselves are fascinating. Their teeth are strong enough to fell trees, and their tails are powerful enough to knock you off your feet. You'd keep your distance, of course, but you'd still feel a sense of awe at their ingenuity. These creatures don't just survive, they transform the land around them, creating habitats that benefit countless other species. In a way, they're like the architects of your world, reshaping the environment in ways that even your tribe can't fully understand. But not all the strange creatures in your world are so peaceful. The dire wolves, what you might call pups in beast mode, are a constant reminder that even the most familiar animals can be deadly. These wolves are larger and stronger than any modern wolf, and they hunt in packs, using their numbers and intelligence to take down prey much larger than themselves. Imagine being surrounded by a pack of dire wolves. Their eyes glint in the firelight as they circle your camp, their low growls sending shivers down your spine. You clutch your spear tightly, knowing that if they attack, your only chance is to stick together and fight as a group. But the wolves don't always attack. Sometimes they just watch, their sharp minds calculating whether the risk is worth the reward. Your tribe respects the dire wolves. They're not just predators, they're competitors, animals that hunt the same prey you do. You might even feel a strange kinship with them, recognizing their intelligence and their reliance on teamwork. But you also know that in this world, respect doesn't mean safety. The wolves are a reminder that survival is a constant battle, one that requires vigilance, strength, and a deep understanding of the creatures around you. As you sit by the fire at night, listening to the sounds of the wilderness, you can't help but reflect on the strange and wonderful creatures that share your world. The glyptodonts with their ancient armor, the giant beavers with their incredible dams, the dire wolves with their sharp minds and deadly teamwork. These animals aren't just part of the landscape, they are part of your story, shaping your life in ways both big and small. As you look up at the stars, you feel a deep connection to this wild, untamed world. You're not just surviving it, you're living alongside it, learning from it, and becoming part of its endless, intricate web of life. If you've enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these creatures fascinates you the most?